Hello everyone, my name is Shakta. I'm a class 12 student studying at DPS RK I secured 1570 on my June SAT attempt last year with 800 and 800 in math. And through the course of this video, I want to give a few tips on how you can achieve a feat near around or better the same in your attempt of the SAT. So the first thing we need to understand in this course of preparation is that the SAT is an exam which does not inherently test your skill vis-a-vis actually knowing the subject, but how you can utilize that knowledge so as to get the maximum number of marks. By that what I mean is, it is more of a strategic examination in terms of test taking and not more of knowledge application. Now, how many aspects does this delve into is a myriad of convergences we need to take into account, but one very important aspect is the fact that this test is adaptive in nature. When I say adaptive, I mean that you cannot go on the net and search for SAT past question papers and use them to prepare. You cannot expect the same number of questions or the same magnitude of intensity of difficulty of the questions on any platform whatsoever, because of the fact that on the actual test day your test is going to be adaptive based on your performance in the first and second modules. The fact that the test is divided into modules justifies why I'm saying this statement, because only depending upon your performance in the first module are second module questions loaded. So if you have not done so well in the first module, then your second module relatively gives you easier questions where you can secure as many marks as possible. And also the fact that you cannot say that a question is for these many set of marks in the SAT. So you can get 3 questions wrong and lose 50 points or lose just 20 points. People say it's just a 10-point kind of question kind of system, but that is not the case. There's a lot of factors involved. So when we talk about preparation for the SAT, few things we need to consider. First, when we talk about English or the reading and writing module, we need to understand that in literature classes of our regular courses, we are expected to say that no answer is wrong and that we can have a perspective on a number of things, but the SAT does not let you have that liberty. In the SAT, if you're being given a passage, then that passage is going to have answers and only one of those answers is going to be the correct option. That is what we need to understand going into the SAT, that there's only going to be one correct option in the passage, whatever its nature be, and that is a skill you'll have to master through the course of solving more and more questions. The more and more you get exposed to the amount of questions, the more and more you're able to practice. You're going to understand what the SAT expects from you, and when you understand what the SAT expects from you, then you can very easily nail the format. Coming to maths, the questions on the math for Indian students relatively are very much on the easier side in terms of difficulty, but they try to confuse you with terminologies and some kind of way of just cycling the question in such a manner that you are not going to get your answer on the first try. So you're going to have to think about your approach. The actual equation part of it may be very easy, but the thought process into the question might be difficult. So again, that comes with practice, and there are some topics here and there which are not very much dealt heavily in Indian curricula. For example, box plots, scatter graphs, those are just few MCQs here and there. And coming into the math section, you also need to delve into the subjective questions part. So you're going to have to adhere to the way you can write your answer, because in some cases, even if your answer is right, for a singular comma or a way you have expressed the question, your answer may be marked wrong and not given apt marks for. Fourth and general tip is that the fact, for any kind of SAT preparation or any examination for that matter, but particularly the SAT, understanding your mistakes way before into the examination is very important, so that you don't repeat them into the future. Because once you have a grasp on what mistakes you're making, and that gives you the liberty to understand that these mistakes are not going to be repeated, and those are the points that are going to fit strongly into your brain and get you the actual points you require. And that is all I have to say on the SAT. We'll be sharing more updates soon on general tips for the examination and more videos delving into further aspects. Thank you.